Angela, can you hear me? Just type in chat. I mean, in Slack. Okay, I'm gonna make a new group chat for just the three of us, so we don't type in the Georgia POS channel because the guys are on the road. They don't need to be looking at their phone. Um, let me. Um, um, okay, and Roy. Okay, um, just type in the channel so I know that you guys are in. Okay, perfect. All right. So I'm gonna be working on these few tickets that I have assigned to myself. First, I know Roy that Claudio told me that you asked him to learn about managing these credit card overages and discrepancies and stuff like that. So I'll go into detail on that right in this segment, and then I'm gonna cover this one as well. It's the same type of thing here, but oh my God, there's so many discrepancies. But okay, we'll go through that, and then the stuff for Verna that came in this morning, we'll cover that last. So first off, let's start off with this one. So we got a for Hog and Bones Waycross on 1024, we got a discrepancy. So let me just put a tag on this. It says batch deposit related, assigned to myself already. So I'm going to pull up the reporting site. So the way they get these numbers, this is specific for the Concept 99 group, which is Hog and Bones, Jerry J's, and Southern Roost locations. Marie is, let's say, from their accounting team, from their payroll team at Concept 99. So we have Marie, and then there's a lady called Mary. Mary is her supervisor, and they're frequently going to be sending stuff like this in. And there's also Brianna. She's also from the same department. So those three ladies will get these emails quite often because due to network issues at the stores, like if they're processing a payment when there's a internet hiccup or something, it may charge a customer twice, and then when they do these reports for themselves weekly, uh, they're gonna notice, okay, the reporting site tells us which we should have this much in credit cards, but it's actually our bank account is showing a different amount. So that's how they compare these numbers. So if we look at this, so the CC deposits, that's how much was deposited into their account. The expected CC line here, the expected credit cards, this is what the spot on reports show. So I'll show you that. So this was Hog and Bones Waycross on 1024. So on the reporting website, I'm going to pull up Hog and Bones Waycross and go to the daily sales recap report. And I'm going to pick the date. So 10/24 was a Friday. And on this report, you have their net sales at the top, Angela. So you're not familiar with the daily sales recap, but this is the main report that people use for their daily sales or monthly, weekly, whatever. You can select a date period here, or you can select a single day. Sometimes you'll get calls from people asking you to send them their monthly report. For example, the 29th is today, so I'm expecting maybe next week we'll get some calls from like Roxy's restaurant or Los Bravos or someone like that. They call in and they ask you to send them this report. So you just come in here, take the daily sales recap, make sure to select the right location, and select the entire month. That's going to be October. Well, next week is going to be November, so you're going to be sending them October's report. And in here, you just up here, print/export, there's an option to send by email, put their email in this field and send it. But let's get back to our topic. So on this report, you can see what their credit card deposit should be by just scrolling down underneath credit cards group by type. You have the total credit cards, the number. So 11,200.01 is their total credit cards for this day. And you can see up here they had a $19 credit card refund, which also shows here. So let's see what this says. So 11,219.01 is what she has as expected. So 11,200.1 is minus this refund. So pretty much she is right about with this number, but they got 11,242.04. So this number, the actual credit card deposits, we need to look at it on the hub, the so-called dashboard, which I always open in incognito mode because there's a small bug with Spot On and with these logins. They introduced a new thing called single sign-on, maybe like 6 months ago or something, and it hasn't been functioning the greatest. So when you need to use the hub, always use it in incognito mode. So when it comes to the hub, the dashboard, we have all the credentials, all the logins on RoboForm. So I just use the extension to find. So we're looking for Hog and Bones. So this is going to be called the Hub HNB. Or actually, okay, Claudia renamed it to Hog and Bones. So okay, it's easier to see it. So RoboForm automatically logs me in. If I get this prompt, I'm not going to update anything unless I change the password, which I did not. So when you come to the hub, right now, if you see up here, we're looking at Hog and Bones Leesburg. We need the Waycross location. So the first thing when you log into the hub, you need to make sure you're looking at the right location. So in this instance, I am not. So I'm going to click on my profile picture here, and I'm going to say change location. So these are all the different Hog and Bones locations. They are all grouped on the hub. So I'm going to select Waycross, select location. And now to see their credit card deposits, on the left side, you have this navigation panel. So Roy, I know that you worked with the hub a lot before, but they changed the layout maybe a month ago or something. And so it looks a little bit different, but everything can be found pretty much the same ways. So to see the credit card reports, the credit card deposits, I'm sorry, underneath reports here, we have this thing called settlements. So you can count on settlements as the actual deposits. So on this page, we're looking at the right date period because the 24th falls within this time frame. So one thing to note, um, one thing to note about this, when it comes to their credit card deposits, uh, there are two ways they get their money, or two time frames, so to say. So people who close or who batch out before 10 p.m. Eastern time, they get their money the next day. If they don't batch out before 10 p.m., they're going to get their money after 48 hours, excluding the weekends. So, in theory, people who don't close their batches before 10 p.m., their credit card batches, on Thursday, if they batch out, let's say 11 p.m., that money will be deposited to their account on Monday because that's 48 hours. So Friday, and then over the weekends, credit cards do not get deposited. So Friday and then Monday morning is going to be that 48 hours. That's when they'll get their money. So that's talking about old hardware, which is, let's call that, they use Transit or TSYS as their processor, the credit card processor, while the new hardware, they use WorldPay as their credit card processor. So for WorldPay, the process is a little bit different. WorldPay time frame is their last time is 9 p.m. So if they do not batch their credit cards before 9 p.m., that money is going to get deposited after 48 hours. So most of our WorldPay merchants, they don't batch out before 9 p.m. So it's pretty standard for them to get their money after 2 days instead of next day. So I'll put those time frames in writing. I know that just talking about it now, it sounds confusing, but uh, I think I have a screenshot that I can share with you guys. Let me see. Okay, so this is for WorldPay, but yeah, this table doesn't maybe make much sense to you guys. So, but pretty much it says here before 9 p.m. Eastern time on Monday, deposit day is going to be Tuesday, and then Tuesday deposit day is going to be Wednesday. What's Claudio tagging me on? Um, so where's the So that's what the table is telling you. If they close their credit card batch, if they run their end of day before 9 p.m. Eastern time on Monday, they're gonna get that money on Tuesday. And here down here after 9 p.m. on Monday, that money is deposited on Wednesday. After 9 p.m. on Tuesday, comes in on Thursday, and so on. And then you have here Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That money comes in on Monday next week, and then Sunday's money comes in on Tuesday. That's what I'm trying to explain. But again, I'll send this in our little group chat so you guys have it. Doo-doo-doo. If something doesn't make sense, if you have a question, type it in the chat. Okay. Okay. So what we're looking at here, so the reporting site says 11,219.01 is what should have been deposited, taking away those $19, the refund that was issued. but the total they got was 11,242.04. So they got more money than they should have. That means we probably have a double charge. So the deposit amount 11,242.04 is right here on the 27th, which was Monday. 24th was Friday, so that money comes in on Monday. So I'm going to expand this settlement or this deposit. And now these are the individual credit card batches. I'm going to open all of them. Besides this one, this is the $19 refund. If you see something in parentheses, that means that that money was, that's a refund. So I'm just going to open all of these and I'll go through all of them one by one, searching for the discrepancy amount that we that she wrote down. So 23.03. So let me come back to the hub, and we have the search feature. So I'm just going to type in 23. Oh, point. Oh my God, it's a little bit slow. So gotta take my time. 23.03. Okay, so this batch doesn't have such a transaction. So let's go into the next one. I'll just paste the amount here. Nothing in this one. So in this one, there are not many transactions. So it's not in this one either. And then this one, let's type it in. Nothing. Okay, and now this one. Okay, so we got an interesting situation here because this amount that she wrote down is not in any of these batches. But if we take into account that there was a refund issued here, which she did not take into account here, let's take away, so 11,242.04 minus 11,219.01 minus 1900 403. Okay, that's not what I wanted to do. Let me do something else. So 11,242.04 minus, I'm going to look at the amount that we have here, 11,200.01. So 4203. Let's look for that amount in the hub. So 42. Oh my God, okay. Okay, so you see here, because she didn't take into account the refund that was issued, and we have it, it shows here, it's a different amount on our total credit cards from her total credit cards. She actually has a bigger discrepancy than what she originally thought. So if you see the date 10/24/1024 payment, the credit card number is the same and the amount is the same. So like I said, this is a double charge and we need to issue a refund for one of these transactions. So I'll just to be on the safe side, I'll go through the other batches as well to make sure that there's no more of these charges, but there should not be because the discrepancy amount is 4203. So we can close down this one, close down this one, and this one too. I'll leave this one open because this is where we have our transactions, and I'll close down this one. So what we need to do here is just pretty much issue a refund. So because this is a double charge, I'm gonna issue this refund on the virtual terminal. Now, Roy, you know what the virtual terminal is. For Angela, virtual terminal is a tool on the hub, on the dashboard here, where we can actually see transactions, all of their transactions, but that goes only for old hardware, for people, for transactions processed with transit, with TSYS, the credit card processor. But on WorldPay, with WorldPay merchants on the virtual terminal here in the hub, you're not going to be able to see their transactions besides online ordering. So integrated spot-on online ordering transactions are always going to show on the virtual terminal. So on my second page here, I'll pull it up, virtual terminal, and we're looking at transactions. And VT for short is a little bit slow, so it takes some time to load up the list. So I'm going to go ahead and select the 24th as my day. And sometimes it doesn't load at first. It takes a bit of time. Okay, that was fast. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to look for this credit card number, 6483. So search 6483. And as you can see, the virtual terminal only shows one transaction, but the credit card batch shows us there were two transactions made. And this is what I'm talking about when I say network errors. What probably happened here when they were processing this transaction, their internet connection maybe went down for a millisecond or a couple milliseconds, and it caused two charges to be made on the card, while only one was registered on the virtual terminal and on the reporting website. If I go back here and if I look for payments, credit card transactions, for the 24th, I'm just going to paste the credit card number that I already have, and you can see there's only one transaction for this amount. So I'll just go ahead and click on this transaction now on the virtual terminal, and I'll say refund and send email receipt and process it. So I'm going to send the email to, who was it, Marie, who sent it in? Okay, Marie. So Marie B at JJHMB Franchising. Okay. Email here and send it. So now I got to go back and explain, Marie, that the discrepancy was bigger than she thought. So I'll just reply, good morning, Marie. 11,200.01, right? And send the refund receipt to your email. Okay, so I'm just gonna send that through as resolved, and we're done with that one. Do you guys have any questions? If not, I'll continue working on this one. Okay, so with this one, we're going to repeat the same process. So can you please research why we had 292 over on 1020 and a $12 shortage on 1024? Interesting. Okay, so on this one, don't look at the top part of this. The top part is about cash stuff. So That doesn't concern us. They're always going to have some discrepancies when it comes to cash because the cashiers are going to give more change back to people, and then people are going to leave their change to the site, so they'll have they'll have overages and shortages when it comes to cash because that's just stuff that they handle on their own. Money goes through their hands and through customers' hands, and stuff gets lost and so on. So we're focusing on the bottom half on the credit cards again. So for 1020, now Brianna didn't tell us which location this is for, which makes it a little bit harder for us. But judging by the sales, I would say this is one of the Southern Roost locations. So let's try to dig it up ourselves. So I'll just look at, so 1020 is our date. And I'll look for all three Southern Roost locations. I don't think it's Baxley. So I'm gonna look into this now, try to find it, but usually I would like you guys to just reply to Brianna and ask her, hi, just tell her like, hi, Brianna, which location is this for? Put a question mark, and when she replies, you can then continue looking into it. But let's see. So 6462, we're looking for 7442 expected CC. Okay. Let's move on. It's not Baxley. Okay, 7442.04. Okay, so we found the one, Southern Roost Blackshare. So for Southern Roost, this situation gets a little bit more complicated. The reason for that being, they use a third-party integration called Incentivio. Now, what Incentivio is a different company who made a deal with Spot On to be able to take Spot On customers and make an app for them. So pretty much what Southern Roost did is they contacted Incentivio and they said they use Spot On and they would like to have a mobile phone app built for them. So what this app does, it allows people to order online for any of the three Southern Roost locations. Now, that online ordering is different from Spot On's online ordering. So these credit cards that get processed on that Incentivio app, I can actually show you they even use their on the website they have Incentivio's online ordering. So if I go to southernrose.com and I hit order online, we need to select our location. So let's say it's Blackshare, and I'm going to say order online again. And you can see up here, the link, it says order.incentivio. Usually it's order.spoton.com. So Incentivio credit card sales, I can show you what it looks like actually. Let's choose 1105. So this is the Incentivio online ordering website. I think if you guys go into like the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, whatever you use, you can maybe download the Southern Roost app and you can check it out for yourself, see what it looks like. Again, that is something custom that they use Incentivio for, and Incentivio is a so-called third-party integration. So we do not control any part of that online ordering. The only thing that we get from them is the credit card batch at the end of the night containing all the credit card money. It goes through Spot On's credit card settlements or deposits. So the reason I'm explaining that is because if you look at the sheet here, uh, who was it, Brianna? She put in Incentivio as well under credit cards. And that's because all of those payments that come from Incentivio all of them are credit card payments. They do not allow cash payments at the store. So when people are ordering, they gotta pay at that moment using their card. So what we get is when we add up 262.71, so 262.71, and add it up with the total credit cards down here, 7442.04, we get 7704.75, which is short. I mean, they got the total CC, the money that they received is 7707.67. So that's so if I take away 7707.67, that's 292 that we have a discrepancy for. So again, we're going to use the hub. Now I got to log out of Hog and Bones Waycross and log into one of the Southern Roost hub. So it's going to be called Southern Roost Corporate, I believe here. Here we go, Southern Roost Corporate. And again, we are looking for the Blackshare location, not Kingsland, so I'm going to change. Southern Roost Blackshare. Okay, so same thing. We go under reports and then settlements. So we are looking for 1020. 1020 was a Monday, so it's not within this time frame. So I'll just move this back to last week, let's say. So stuff from 1020 should have been deposited on 1021 because all Southern Roost, Jerry J's, and Hog and Bones locations, they batch out at 9 p.m., which fits within that time frame, so they get their money on the next day. So 7707.67, this is what she wrote down as the amount. So again, I'm going to expand, open up the individual credit card batches. So just to go back to one thing, these batches that you see here, each payment device, each pin pad or customer facing device, no matter what they're using, has its own credit card batch. So pretty much, so these transactions are going to be from one device, these are going to be from a different device, and these are probably, yeah, these are the online ordering, 26271, and this is from a third device. So pretty much we're looking for, what was the discrepancy? 292? Yeah, 292. So again, I'm going to type in 2.92. Okay, so this one is 1292, not the one we're looking for. Let's go next. Okay, so we got two of them here, but they're not the same card number. None of them in this one. Okay, and the last one, none of them. Okay, so we got card number 5639 and card number 9043. So one of these is probably something that was voided out, but it didn't actually take. It didn't register the void on the credit card processing side. Again, this happens due to network related issues. So to confirm, we need to go back to the reporting site. So I'm going to go back. Southern Roost Blackshare. Okay, we're looking at 1020. So under payments, credit card transactions, I need to look for those two credit card numbers. So 5639 and 9043. So we're looking at 1020. Okay. 5639. Okay, so the reason we're getting so many results is because the order numbers are all 5639, 5639. So it's matching them, but we're looking at the CC number field. So if I see here, I don't actually see 5639. meaning that that transaction is a so-called ghost transaction, something that that was voided on the POS, but it didn't register that void on the credit card processing side. And if I look at 9043, we're probably going to see this amount. Uh, 9043, yeah, 292. So credit card number 9043 for 292. So, okay, guys, I think the live stream just went down a little bit. Can you confirm that you can see and hear everything? Okay. Was it down for a long time or did it just cut off for a few seconds? Okay. All right. So I'm going to continue. So we need to look on the virtual terminal to see if we can find this transaction and issue a refund. And I got to mention, when it comes to issuing refunds, uh, please ask me or Claudio if I'm working at that time, ask me before doing the refund. And if I'm not here, ask Claudio because, like I said a few days ago, uh, the reason the reason I refunded this the double charge is because it didn't report on the POS, so it doesn't really matter if we issue it on the virtual terminal. But usually we like to not issue refunds on the virtual terminal because it doesn't show up on the reports. Refunds issued through the virtual terminal, they do not show up on reports, causing uh, taxes to not be refunded, so the merchant ends up paying more taxes than they actually should have. But just for future reference, just ask me or Claudio. Now, let's search for this 5639 transaction. So virtual terminal transactions, and got to make sure we're looking at 1020. And card number, yeah, so it doesn't show here. So in this instance, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send this over to Spot On to dealer support to issue this refund because we don't have a way of issuing it. If it doesn't show on the virtual terminal, it sure doesn't show on the report, so we're sure it's not gonna show up on the POS either. So I'll just put together an email for dealer support. Refund needed. Good morning. Merchant name is GPS Southern Roost Blackshear location. I have a ghost transaction that needs to be refunded. Transaction date is no dollar sign 10/20/2025. Card number is this, and then amount charged is 2.92. Refund amount 2.92. And I'll just say thank you, and they're gonna forward this over to a Reiki, a so-called Reiki department within Spot On, and those guys are gonna take care of it. So let's get back here and let's look at. So we had that one, and then we had one more. So On 1024, they're missing $12. That's an interesting one. So let's pull that up. So 1024, right? Yep, 1024 again. So let's scroll down. Incentivio says 318.52. And then total credit cards, we have plus 8749.45. 9067.97. Okay, so why is my number different from her number? The incentivio amount is different. 318.52. 25304. Okay, so they probably refunded something on the Incentivio portal, but that stuff does not report over to Spot On. So, but okay, let's take her amount. Or actually, we have access to their Incentivio stuff. I don't want you guys to log in to this Incentivio dashboard. This is something that Claudio and I can dig into, but to be honest with you, ever since this Incentivio integration started a few months ago, it's just been more issues than good stuff. So, online orders on the 24th for Blackshare. Okay, so if I take these amounts, 44.99 plus 10.25 plus 10.02 plus 21.58 plus 55.74. Okay, so this is a $0 order. Why is that? 5971 plus 8.52 plus 2186 plus 1148 plus 889. 25304. So that's what she has on her report, right? 25304. Okay. And our discrepancy is probably going to be this $0 order because it has some sort of a discount, right? Nope. Okay. So this discrepancy is probably going to be all about Incentivio. So I'm going to be looking into that. So what's the difference? 25304 minus 31852, 6548. So I'm going to go into the order list report and I'm going to be looking for an online order with this amount just so I can try to figure out what happened. So I'm searching for employee OLO, EPOS OLO. That's a system generated employee that injects online orders into the system. So what did I say? 56 something, was it? 6548. Okay. Okay, so that's interesting. Okay, I'm gonna go to the payment list report so I can look at Incentivio payments. So this report allows us to look at search for different payment methods. So everything from Incentivio comes in under the Incentivio payment method. And 6548 right there it is. So an order came in during breakfast, 7:58 a.m. Okay. Order number 458654. 459. 458528. Okay, so the bottom one's 458 654. This one is 646 648 7. So, okay. Um, so this order was injected into the POS from Incentivio, and I'm guessing it was on that same day, it was refunded or canceled. So I'm going to look at canceled orders for this day. Okay, nothing was canceled, refunded. Oh, there we go, 65.48. So they refunded this on Incentivio, but those refunds they don't reflect on the POS. So what they should have done is void this order on the POS completely, but I guess they forgot to get it done. So that's why we had that discrepancy. But okay, let's let's take these numbers. 874945. Okay, let's get back to the daily sales recap. Guys, I know that I'm in complicated territory right now, especially considering this is a third-party integration. So you're not going to be doing these anyways for the first couple months. Probably I'll take care of them. So if you don't catch on to something, it's okay. Don't bother yourself too much with it. When time comes for you to do this yourself, I will show you how it's done. So okay, 874945. That's what we have here, right? Okay. So she's saying that we're missing $12. Now, one thing I notice here is that we have voids 1049. What's 8% of 1049? 8% of 1049, not 48. 10.49 plus 0.84. 1133. Okay, that's not enough. Okay, let's go on to the hub. Let's see if anything is showing here. Okay, so 1024 was a Friday. Again, that money is going to be deposited on Monday, so I need to adjust my dates here. Let's do it this. So she's saying that they got. This is okay. Hold on. 8749.45 plus 253. Okay. All right. Let's see. 899049. That's the deposit. Okay, so we gotta reverse this now because we're not gonna be looking for this on the hub. We gotta use the reporting website to figure out what happened. So I am going to order list. And let's look at payments. Let's look for anything that says $12. Okay. So 1197, 12, so we don't actually have a $12 payment. Uh, 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 um, okay. Okay, let's go through all of those online orders again. I'm guessing that the issue is going to be on Incentivio side, so I'm going to have to compare Incentivio. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to be comparing these orders with these orders on Incentivio, um, so we can see what matches and what does not match. So um, let's start off, I guess. So 889, that's the first order down here, 889. So 1148 is the next one, that matches. 2186 matches. 852. Okay, so beside this one was refunded, so 852 is next one. That's good. 5971, that's good. 5574, okay. 2158, okay. 1002 is also good. 1025 is good, and 4499 is good. Okay. Um, so even that stuff matches. This was a $0 order, so it doesn't really matter. Okay. Now I need a moment to think as well because um, sometimes sometimes stuff doesn't make sense, so I gotta figure out what could have affected this. Um, yeah, it is interesting because we were looking for some money that reported somewhere, but it didn't get deposited. So let me go to the batches again. Is there anything here? No. Um, okay. Um, on the payment list report, let's look at payment amount, sort by that, and let's look to see if there's a $12 payment anywhere to be found on this one. Yeah, it's 1209, but not 12. Hmm. So sometimes you're gonna see this as well. The total on this order is 0, but it has a $5 payment. If you look under the gratuity field here, it says $5. So we use this gratuity for this is specific for the Concept 99 group and these fast food chains, we set up the gratuity as a so-called cashback. So what a customer can do is they can come in and say, "Hey, I want to run my card for $5. Can you give me $5 back in cash?" So that's why they just they processed it for $5, but uh, they got $5 back in cash. So that's why everything's just sitting on zero. Just so you know that that's a thing. So what I'm doing right now is I'm looking for orders with zero net sales, but with payments. But this one is also going to be the same probably. Um, I didn't even notice these couple. Yeah, so $5 gratuity on this one and this one. I'm guessing is going to be the same. So the reason I'm looking for this is because I've seen it before where for whatever reason, and again I write it off to network issues. They void stuff off of an order and zero it out, but the payment that they took before actually stays. So that causes the credit card money to be higher than what it should have been. So, but okay, in this case, we don't, this one is a $10, probably cash back again. Yep, gratuity $10. And this one I already looked at, it's a $20 gratuity or cash back. Um, okay. All right, well, for this case, I am probably gonna have to send this in to dealer support, or actually, let me see something. Let's see if there's anything with $12 net sales or around that amount. What's this one? And we come across one of our lovely bugs. When you open too many of these orders on the reporting website, it just stops opening them completely. So you have to refresh and it'll allow you to look at them again. All right. Oh, I went over a little bit. So 1209, 1197. Let's scroll up. Yeah, I got nothing pretty much. So I'm gonna have to send this into dealer support again so they can look and see what could have happened with this. Let's go back to the DSR one more time just to see if I can notice anything. If you guys spot an amount that says 1200, let me know. Nope, I don't see it. Um, okay, I'll leave this one for later on. So I'm just gonna reply to Brianna. Hi, Brianna. The 292 was a ghost transaction which I could a refund for should reflect on one of the next batches. Still looking into the $12 discrepancy. Um, just let her know like this. All right, batch deposit related, working on it. Okay, so this one I can just resolve. And now let's handle the stuff for Verna. So I'll come back to this maybe when my brain is a little bit more fresh, because right now I feel like I'm hitting a wall with this one. Um, Not really sure where to go next, but I'll probably end up sending this to dealer support so they can look as well. A fresh set of eyes is always good. So let me just add this ticket. So one thing, Angela and Roy, one thing we're doing when you send stuff into dealer support, you get this automatic reply from them with the case number. We have this ticket tracker on this thing called Monday. I think you both got um, invitations, right? Or no? Is it just me and Claudio here? Do you guys have access to Monday? Okay, Angela, I'll get you access to this later this week or maybe next week. You don't need it yet because you're not taking calls and stuff anyways yet. So, I mean, next week you're gonna start. So I'll get you access to this. But yeah, Roy, pretty much the only thing for now that you would use it for is to post your spot on tickets here. So if you saw what I just did, I added this refund needed, the ticket number, who the client is, which restaurant it's for, and it automatically fills in the date. So we use this to keep track of tickets that we sent into spot on. As you can see, I got some tickets from August that are now with the devs, the so-called SRTs. So yeah, we use it so we can track to see uh, how long it takes for them to take care of stuff, and also so Claudio and I can have insight into what's being done. So okay, let's get back to Verna. So Verna is from Boomies. Boomies is a bar slash nightclub slash restaurant type of thing. They have Asian food mostly, and because they're a bar slash nightclub, they often have these specials, bar crawls and stuff like that. So they need some new items added. So what I'm gonna do is pull up Boomies in back office. So when it comes to this bar crawl stuff, it usually happens on like a Friday or Saturday and stuff like that. So the button on the POS, we make it so that it's not available other than during this period that they requested for. So on Friday, October 31st and Saturday, November 1st from 3:45 to 10:15. Okay, so let's first add the items. So I'm gonna pull up my menu item groups, and we have bar crawl right in here. So I'm gonna edit those menu items. So what are we looking for? Absolute seltzers. So we got that. Absolute seltzers for $5. Okay, so cash price is 5. That one's already in. Deep Eddy. Deep Eddy seltzer. We got that. Screw it shots. We got that. $5. Okay. Altos Margaritas. Altos Margarita. Okay, for 6. That's good. Altos Blanco shot. So silver is that's the same as Blanco, right? But I'll just rename that. Uh, Jameson Orange, we got that. Jack Blackberry, we got that. Neutral seltzers. Okay, so we gotta add that one in. And that one's gonna be 6 again. I think that's good. So BL stands for Bud Light, and then MU stands for Michelob Ultra, which are two types of beer. I know it because I've been working with them for a long time. If this was you, I would need you to ask me, hey, what does BL and MU stand for? So I can tell you what it is, but I'm gonna just duplicate. And so Bud Light, what was it? Bottle, okay, at $4, and Michelob Ultra bottle at 4. Okay, so we got the items in. I'm just gonna sort this alphabetically so it's easier for them to find. And now, so I told you that we make this group only available during these specific time periods, just because if I show you their menu screens, they are like they have a lot of stuff on their menu screens, and especially the bar. As you can see, there's so many buttons, and we don't need to have. You can see the bar crawl is right here. It doesn't need to be here when it's not needed, so it's a little bit less crowded. Um, so that we do that by doing a pricing event. So Roy, you know what pricing events are, and Angela, I think we went over them last week. So we have the pricing event. I'll rename it to bar crawls. So what this pricing event does is, okay, it's enabled and it makes items unavailable. So which items? Okay, it's the menu group bar crawl that we're making unavailable. So we are making it unavailable on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all day. So it's going to be unavailable all day. And now, because they want it on Saturday, I'm going to remove Saturday from here. Okay, so what are we saying now? We got another day range, so to say. Um, so on Friday, make it unavailable from opening time until, what did she say, 3:45 p.m. So I need to move this. So I'll just say 3:40. Those 5 minutes don't really matter too much. Maybe they're gonna want to give something to someone a couple minutes before 3:45, so that's okay. And then it should disappear at 10:15 instead of 11. So we're making it unavailable from 10:15 to closing time. Okay. So we do the same thing for Saturday, and that's pretty much it. So this pricing event is making event items unavailable. Okay, which items? The menu group bar crawl. It makes it unavailable on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all day. And then on Friday, it's unavailable from opening to 3:40 p.m. And then again, it's unavailable. It's going to be unavailable from 10:15 till closing time. So that's pretty much what we're doing. And I'm going to put custom date range. So 10/31/2025 till 11:02, let's say, doesn't really matter, like that. So yeah, that's pretty much, or actually, I can maybe leave this on all dates. It doesn't really matter. Um, that's pretty much it when it comes to Verna. So I'm gonna say good morning, V. The new items were added and are ready for you for the upcoming weekend. Thank you, and we wish you a great Halloween as well. So V is, she seems like an really extroverted person, so she's always typing in these nice messages. Like at the end of her messages, you're always going to find something like "Have a wonderful Halloween" or "Hope you enjoy your weekend," "Get something to drink" and stuff like that. So I don't want to sound too much like a robot with her, so I just give her a nice little message, which should be enough. So I'll send this as resolved, and I'll put menu changes request in archive. All right. Now, I got a task, and one of you is going to handle this. Angela, I'll give it over to you because Roy, I think you've done this stuff before, and because you'll be taking calls and stuff like that, I'll give this over to Angela to complete for. Let's see. I just want to see. So these are credit card tips that need to be sent in to be adjusted. I don't care. There's not too many of them, right? That's just 4 tips. Okay. Um, doo-doo-doo-doom. Are there any other emails? No. Okay. So if you saw this email, this server pretty much lost a lot of money, but it was her own fault. Server Mia, I want to pronounce it like that. Um, she was not adjusting her tips on the POS stations. She was only adjusting her tips on when using the when they say portable devices, those are handhelds. So Mia was only adjusting her tips on handhelds, but when she processed stuff on a POS station, she was not adjusting her tips. So there are a lot of unadjusted tips, and she she started 2 months ago. So just they just figured out now that she hasn't been adjusting her tips. So not much we can do about it, but Celia did send in some tips that need to be adjusted. So again, this is stuff that we send to Spot On to complete. So I'm gonna download this PDF. We're gonna need it. So Orale Tacos MLK tips. For now, I'll keep it open like this. Um, so pretty much, Angela, what you're gonna be doing is this. I'm gonna send it to you in chat. Good morning. Oh, okay. Let me delete that. Um, Let me see how many. So, okay. So this is 1021, 1016, 1021, 1021. Okay. So this one from 1016. I mean, we can send it through, I guess. But that was 2 weeks ago, and usually we tend to not send those in for an adjustment, but I guess since Celia has put it inside this PDF, we can get that done. Okay, so I'm sending this. I'm typing in a message to the Slack channel. Order date, order number is this order number up here from the receipt. So 72151. Card number is this right here, 0014. Amount charged is this amount right here, so 40.39. Tip amount is $20. Okay, that's a nice tip. And total with tip is 60.39. And then you would just copy this and then repeat for the next one, next order, and so on. Next. And let's do this. At the end, you need to attach the PDF. So a PDF containing receipts with signed receipt attached email. Okay, so you can take, I just sent you a template. So this is how I sent the tip keys into dealer support. So you can just fill in this information. Don't do it right now. I still want to show you guys some more things. So you can do it like in an hour, I guess. I'll end the stream. You get off in an hour and a half, right? So in an hour, I'll end the stream so you can complete this stuff, or maybe I'll stay live, but Roy can stay with me. We'll see. Um, in any case, send it in before you get off for today. It shouldn't take you too long. Okay, guys. So what do we have now? Is this V? Yeah. Okay, so V says, thank you. Is there a way you can email me the spot on apps so that I may be able to download it on my desktop at home? Okay, so so what V is asking for right here is pretty much we don't have apps. They say apps, but they're not. They're actually websites. She wants to have links for back office and for spot on reports, pretty much. So I'll just let's see if we have an email for V. Sure thing. Is Patron Gal still a good email? So I'll just send her the links that she needs. Okay, so I wanted to say, what else? Do we have anything else pending? So this stuff, nope, nothing from Claudio's tickets. Okay, so I got this ticket, but we're still deciding what we're gonna do with this menu and this stuff from Jim. Okay, let's take a 10-minute break, and when we come back, we can talk a little bit about phone calls, customer handling, and stuff like that. And if you guys, Roy, Angela, if you have any questions for me while we're on the live stream, you can write them in the chat, and I'll try to explain and show you guys. So let's take a short break, and I'll leave the stream open. I'll write in the chat when I'm back. And if any phone calls that come in, you can leave them to me. I'll answer them, and you can maybe listen to me on the live stream if you can get back to your seat in time. Okay, guys, I'm back with you. Type in chat if you are both here. Okay, and Angela, I'm guessing you're also here. All right, so Angela just made a bit of a mistake. I mean, nothing too big. Angela, don't worry about this. I'm actually, you're gonna reply. Um, okay, yeah, so Angela just copied copied what I sent and sent it to dealer support, but you need to fill in this information for there are four different orders, so you can just use reply all and send your updated stuff. So go ahead and get that done now, and we'll while I'm sending an email to V, so I'll send it through front to Patriot Gal. Subject spot on links. We're just gonna wait for Angela to get this done, and we'll continue talking. I don't know what it is these days, but during my shift, there's really not a lot of calls coming in. I was really hoping that today will be busier, but there's not much going on. Okay, um, that's good, Angela. Um, don't worry about the mistake. It's okay. They're gonna get the second email, so all that info in here is in there, and they can also see the PDF. So not a big mistake. Just yeah, it happens. It's okay. All right. Both of you, if you're here, type in chat just so I know that you're both watching, and we can go ahead and continue. Okay, so one thing that I have in my notes from last week, Roy, you asked me about this last week about closeouts. So you had that call with El Maguey Mexican restaurant. So I'm gonna go through that right now, just because you guys are on call. Roy, you have how many? Two or three on call days, and then Angela, you're gonna have two as well, starting next week. So one thing that you will get calls for a lot in the after hours. I mean, not a lot, but the most frequent thing people call during after hours is closeouts. Now, I'm gonna take that example from from last week for Roy, for that call that you had. So closeouts are pretty much the, let's say, shift reports for servers and cashiers. But let's just say it's servers. Let's talk because let's take a normal restaurant, and let's consider that we have a server who is taking orders, taking payments, handling cash, and all that stuff. And then they're gonna call you, and they're gonna say, "Hey, my report." The call that Roy had last week, they told him, "Hey, a report for this employee is just showing the employee worked a double shift, but the report is showing numbers from the entire day instead of being separated into two different shifts." So there are a couple things to take into consideration when that comes into mind. So I'll just pull up El Maguey here. Um, so this location actually doesn't use Spot On anymore. So this other one in Statesboro is the one that Roy worked with, and the date was 10/23. So I'm just gonna, so on the reporting website here, um, after a few days, you can look at those closeout reports, but usually you would look at them on the front of house, which I'm also going to show, or actually, I'm going to put it up right away so we don't use reports, because this is the way the merchants look at it, and we can look at it as well. So just so you know, you can pull up front of house for any merchant at any time. If, for example, you need to see something on their POS, but you cannot connect to their system, or if they're busy using the POS station or something, so you can put it up. The link for front of house is, I'll copy it. Uh, I'll copy all the links actually. Okay. And then reports, just so you guys have them. And I'm gonna edit hub/dashboard, login. All right, like that. So you, I would suggest to bookmark those links. Always have them ready in your browser in case they're needed. So let's continue. So El Magay, I'm gonna provision. We always have a station called support, or X support actually, but it's a support station that we use when we need to provision a station to look at something. So I'll provision that. And It's taking its time. So it pulls up the POS just as it would on any POS station. So we can use this to look at real-time information. So because Spot On is cloud based, I'm pulling this up on my computer, but I can see real time at the restaurant. So they have this table A2 open. And Ramiro was actually one of those servers that they asked you about, Roy. So that's good. So on the front of house, usually when you get those calls, you would be looking at closeouts by going into show commands and then closeouts, and then you select whatever employee you need to select. And this is the report pretty much. This one is zeroed out just because Ramiro hasn't taken any payments yet. He only has one order that's still open on the POS, so there's nothing. The report is just blank. And then we have Jesus here, who also probably doesn't have, or he had a credit card payment, okay, but no cash payment so far. Okay, so let's go back. So because we're looking for last week's closeouts on the POS, I'm gonna go into show commands and then end day history. And on the left side, you see how we have these dates. So we're looking for, what was it, 1023, right? 1023, yeah. So don't let these dates confuse you in here in this end of day history screen, because 1024, this report is actually going to be for 1023, because you can see here it says it was ran by auto end of day. So it was closed out. This report for the entire day was closed out by the automatic end of day process, which for most merchants it runs after midnight. So because if I click on report up here, this is the report for the entire store, the all the sales for that day. And you can see up here it says run by auto end of day, run at 10:24, 5:24 a.m. So this is going to be the report for the 23rd. It was just auto end of day, closed everything out next day in the morning, because we have it here under locations. Oh, that's Boomies. Hold on. El Magay. I'm going to show you the auto end of day setting. Roy, you probably know where it is, but for Angela, just to connect the dots. All right, so under locations, and I'm gonna select, like I said, this one in Brooklet, they switched over to a different POS, but this Statesboro one is still with us. So if I scroll down under time zone slash hours of operation, you can see here auto end of day time 5 a.m. and this report was at 5:24. So it's not an exact time, exact science, but around 5 a.m. this report was closed out. So this is what we're looking for. Okay, so in the end of day history screen, we can see the report for the entire store, all the sales, cash, and all that stuff. And also we can see closeouts up here. It says closeouts by employee. So the way you're looking at this right now, you would say that there's only one report for everyone. But if I say expand closeouts, you can see. So Jesus Cruz, okay, he has one. Velasco, he has one as well. And then we have Juan, he has two, but the second one is just zeros. And we have Ramiro, he has two different closeout reports with two different amounts. So Ramiro did the right thing, but Juan is the one who messed up. So what they did, both of them worked a double, meaning they started at like 10:30, 11, whatever, what time they open, and they should have clocked out at like 2:30 p.m., 3 p.m., and gone for like a 2 or 3 hour break, and then clock back in for to start their new shift. And you can see Ramiro did that. If I click on this closeout and I say view close report, you can see this one. Okay, so he ran it at 1:19 p.m. That's when he clocked out. Now, One more setting in back office as well that tells us if people, let me just get to it here under job positions. So I'll select the server job positions. Both of them are servers. This setting right here, it says close out on clock out. So what it does is when they clock out, they close this closeout report for this shift. And that setting should be enabled for servers for restaurants. So if they clock out, it's going to close this closeout. And then when they clock back in, it's going to start a new closeout, which is this one. Now, the setting is enabled, but for some reason, Juan only has one. The other one is zeros, but Ramiro has good looking closeout, so to say, with numbers that look good and stuff like that. So what happened in this instance, Roy? I'm not sure. I think I've shown you this, what they did, but I'm going to show it again. Ramiro did the right thing. He clocked out at, what was it, 1:19 p.m.? Yeah, so he clocked out at 1:19 p.m. This closeout was closed. And the reason they do these closeouts is because restaurants pay their servers credit card tips at the end of the day. So the way they take that amount, the way they get to it is so, okay. So Ramiro, for his first shift, he had so total cash means cash payments. He had cash payments of 81.22. So let's say that's how much cash he should have with him. And then we take away his non-cash tips. So non-cash tips are credit card tips. So 21.30, that needs to be given to Ramiro, meaning if we take, he has 81.22 with him, but he has this much in tips. So he needs to give back to the restaurant 59.92. Let's round it to 60. So he needs to give the manager $60 back from his cash and keep the rest of it. The rest of the cash is going to amount to this, his non-cash tips, his credit card tips. So that's the thing they use these closeouts for when it comes to restaurants. They pay their servers credit card tips at the end of their shift. And so for Ramiro, he should have given back the restaurant 59.92, let's say 60, and then for the second shift, he should have given them back 34.37, let's say 35. He had this much in tips. So he had around $60, $62 in tips for the entire day that they gave to him in cash. Angela, I see you writing me a message, so I'll just wait for you. Oh, okay, it's about the tips you sent. Okay, I'll add that to Monday. So let's ticket tracker. It's 0281646. Oh, okay, wrong name. Tips to Ricky. And then this, and it was for Orale Tacos MLK. Okay, so let's get back to this. Um, you can even say, it says here, cash due. So he's due to give back the restaurant 34.37 in cash, and whatever leftover he has, he keeps it for himself. Now, the reason Juan has only one closeout report with numbers on it is because he didn't clock out at the end of his first shift. So if I pull up this close report, you can see it was ran at 9:51 p.m. So it should have said like 1:32 p.m. up here. And then this second one is because he clocked out at this time and then he clocked back in because they were confused. Like looking at the numbers, they saw that it was the report was for the entire day and it didn't make sense to them. So they clocked Juan back in just to see if they can figure something out on their own, and then they got confused even more, and they called Roy, who picked up the phone, and Roy wasn't sure what was going on either. So the way you can confirm that Juan did not clock out on this day when he should have after his first shift, you can use the reporting website. You can look at labor and you can look at the timesheets report, whatever. Let's pull that up. So the 23rd, if I look at Melgar Juan, you can see here he clocked in at 11:35 and he clocked out at 9:51. And this second clock in, 10:18 to 10:22, that's the second closeout that you see that's zeroed out because, like I said, they were confused. He clocked back in to see his report, and they got even more confused because they don't know how to use the system properly, and that's why they call for assistance at, I believe it was like 10:30 p.m. when they called Roy, which is very late, and that's why I want to show you guys this. But if we look at Ramiro, Vasquez Ramiro, he clocked in at 11:23, clocked out at 1:19. So okay, he got his first report done, and he clocked back in at 3:33 after a 2-hour break to work again until 10:22. So his report was looking good. Does this make sense, guys? Do you have any questions? Roy, are you with us? I see Angela writing in chat, but not you. Okay. So I'm gonna show you guys one more instance. So in this example that I just gave you, uh, these people, if you look at some stuff over here, if we, let's say, look at Juan's, uh, they don't put in their opening cash. So they have this opening cash and closing cash settings, so to say. If I go into current days closeouts, so show commands closeouts, and if I click on Ramiro, you can see here that we can enter the opening cash like this, and it changes on the report, and we can enter the closing cash like this and apply. So I'm just going to delete this because they don't use this stuff. But one thing that you're going to run across sometimes, it's just because they don't know how to use the system. They're going to do their closeout, they're going to look at the report, and they maybe hit the close button up here. What that does, it closes it closes this closeout manually without them clocking out. And then they're gonna come back here. What happens? Let's actually let me do it for us. Um, let's say let me ring up something on the POS. So I'm gonna do open food test for $50. Okay, and I'm gonna take a cash payment. I'll rename this to test. I'll take a cash payment for okay, 51.93. These guys are on cash discount, so it uplifts the price by 4%. So I'll just apply the payment. Okay, I don't need the receipt. All right, so now if I go into my closeout report, you can see here I have a cash payment of 51.93. All right, so I need to give that money back to the restaurant because I don't have any non-cash tips, any credit card tips. Okay, so what they're going to do sometimes is they're going to come in here, look at the report, and accidentally or for whatever reason, they're going to hit the close button, and even they get this confirmation message, they're still going to close it out. So they hit the closeout. So they close the closeout. Can you hear me okay now? Oh, okay. Um, so they close the closeout, and then later on, as they're taking payments, if I go ahead and let's say, let's ring up another open food for $20. Okay, payment test, and I'm gonna take another cash payment. Okay, and then if I go into my closeout again, you see, it didn't reflect this new payment. The reason for that being is because after they hit the close button up here, they did not start a new closeout. So to get the updated information, you can either start the new closeout, hit this button, I'll show you later, or it says here, select here for daily closeout totals. So you can hit this button and it shows the updated report. So this one, the old one that was closed out, it just shows that one payment that was taken during this one closeout. And then we have the daily totals up here. So just hit this button and it's going to show you the amounts. Or you can start a new closeout and it's going to show only the new payment that I took. So now it's two different reports. Or I can select this button up here and it shows the entire report for the entire day, so to say. So you will get this error a lot with like Hog and Bones and Jerry J's and Southern Roost. Those guys tend to misuse the closeouts because they use them a lot, but I don't know, sometimes managers, because for them managers sort this stuff out, they get confused and they get lost and hit some buttons that they shouldn't be doing. And uh, I'm gonna move on to that example now because they do a different thing with their closeouts, and I'll explain why. So let me just go ahead and void my orders out. Closed, and so I'm changing the status from open to closed, and I'm looking at only my orders because I want to reopen them and close them as zero, void them out. So select it up here into ticket commands, reopen, and okay, so the cash payment was automatically taken out. That is a setting under locations, I believe, that says remove cash payments when ticket reopened. So it automatically got removed. And I'm just going to void out this open food POS test, and then I'm going to close it out up here and do the same thing with this one. So reopen, cash payment was removed automatically, and I'm gonna void the open food. Okay, and actually I can go ahead and clock out. So show commands, clock out, because we're done with El Magay. Now I'm gonna pull up one of the Hog and Bones locations so you can see what their closeouts look like. Hog and Bones. Okay, so for Hog and Bones, the closeouts look a lot different. And the reason for that being is that these guys do not take any tips at all. So they don't take, maybe they're going to take a cash tip if someone leaves it, but credit card tips, they don't do that stuff at all. So these are fast food chains that are, they don't, the cashiers don't take any tips. So let's go into end day history. Where is it? Right here. So let's look at the 27th. And you can see it has a lot more employees in here because they have many cashiers coming through the day. Um, in just one shift, these guys, I think they have like 15 to 20 people working. So it's a big operation. So for them, if I pull up, for example, Allison Moore view close reports, you can see they put in their opening cash and they put in their closing cash as well. Again, like I said, there are no tips, no credit card tips. If they do get a cash tip, I'm not sure that's how cash tips are not recorded in the system, so it doesn't matter when it comes to the report. I don't know what they do with cash tips if they get them. Maybe they take them for themselves or they put it in a jar and then they all divide it by themselves. I don't know how it goes for them, but just want you to know that cash tips are never recorded in the system, only credit card tips. So these guys don't take any credit card tips, as you can see here, but they put in their opening cash. Okay, so when Allison came in at 10, or actually she probably started around 2 p.m. She worked the so-called second shift. When she came in, she has a cash drawer that has $150 in it. Okay, so she put her opening cash at 150. All right, now she had cash payments in the amount of 207.05. Okay, so the system is saying that 150 plus, you even see you have the plus sign here and then the minus signs down here. So 150 plus 207.05 equals cash due is 357.05. 150 plus 207.05 is 357.05. Okay, now at the end of her shift, Allison is going to count her drawer to see how much cash she has. And after she counts it, she puts in that closing cash amount. So when she counted the drawer at the end of the day, she had 362.01 in her cash drawer. So she was over for around $5. Now, this is this is okay. I'm not sure what they do with these $5. They probably give it to the general manager and they deposit the cash next day in the morning. One of them, some a manager or someone, they go to the bank and they give that cash into the bank and it gets deposited to the company's bank account. So that's how they do their stuff, and that is because they don't take credit card tips, so their cash is pretty straightforward. If someone has a big shortage up here, that's because they gave some wrong change back to the customer or something like that. So let's see if we can find. Okay, we have John Velasco here. he has over slash short negative 1892. Okay, so he gave some cash back to someone wrongfully. So okay, we got an interesting one here. So again, opening cash is set at 150. That's standard for them. They all start their day with $150. And then he had 422.61 in cash payments. So people who paid with cash for their orders. And then he had this auto gratuity. I just talked about this. For these guys, auto gratuity is the cashback feature where someone comes and they say, hey, can you charge my card for $10 and just give me $10 back in cash? So that because that amount is deducted, they're taking money from their cash drawer and giving it out to the customer. It's taking it, there's a minus sign up here. It's taking it away from the total cash. Okay. So that leaves us cash due is 466.61. So if I pull up my calculator and I do 150, which is the opening amount, and then cash payments 422.61. Okay. And then I remove 106. So he gave 106 back to people because they paid with their card and they wanted to have some cash in their wallets. Okay. 466.61. That's the cash due number. Okay. So that's pretty much the system telling John that he should have this amount or close to this amount in his cash drawer. But when John counted his cash drawer, he only had 447.69. And when he put that closing cash amount in on that closeout page, he came up short $18.92. So if they call you about this and they tell you, hey, I'm for some reason I'm short, the system knows how much in cash he took and what the opening cash is. I mean, they put this amount in themselves, but the system is correct when it comes to cash. So if someone is short some amount of money, that means they didn't handle their cash properly for that day. They gave more change back to someone than they should have, and they ended up short for the day. Now, how do they make up for this shortage? I'm not sure. That's something they handle internally. Does the employee have to give this amount from their wallet to the restaurant or something? I don't know what they do with that, but it is pretty much up to them. Okay, so do you guys have any questions? Does this make sense? Did I explain it good? Do you have a picture of how this stuff works? Okay, so if that's the case, I am gonna leave it at that for today. My throat is starting to hurt real bad. I still haven't recovered from my flu, so I'll let you guys go for now. Roy, you can go back to taking the calls, and tomorrow we'll do another live stream. Tomorrow and probably Friday if I'm feeling all right. So we can hopefully we can get some calls in. I don't know what's happening this week. And the last week as well, it was really quiet when it came to phone calls, at least during my shift. I don't know, Roy, how's it been after I get off? Do you get a lot of calls? Interesting. Yeah, that's still not a lot. It was way busier before. I don't know. I mean, it's close. It's close to the end of the season now. I mean, the season has ended, the summer season, so all the restaurants are getting quiet now, so they don't call as much. But we're gonna have some holidays coming up. Halloween is this weekend, right? And then we have Thanksgiving coming up in November, and then Christmas time and stuff like that. So we'll be getting calls about that stuff for sure. But hopefully in the next couple of days we can get some calls in so you guys can watch and listen as I'm talking to customers and probably learn something new. Okay, I'll end the stream here and Angela, you have like 30 minutes left, so keep an eye on the texts and emails and really take care of the calls. I'm here all day today, so I can help you with anything you need.